What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. Summer is in full effect, man. As I'm recording this, it is Memorial Day weekend, so it is the unofficial kickoff to summer. And speaking of kickoff, man, we got a lot of stuff coming up on the channel, man. I have another episode of Classic Conversations coming up this week. I got a little bit of footage from the Yankee game that I went to this past Friday night with some of my favorite ladies, my sisters, of the Ride of the Dark Lake. You guys will see that, and I'll do a brief recap of the game along with that little bit of footage. And we got the games for the Physically Challenged coming up this weekend. We're going to talk about Double or Nothing on the vlog this week. That'll be Wednesday's episode. And we got another episode of Shooting the Shit dropping this week. So I am a very, very busy man. But you know what? I love it. I love the challenge of being busy and just doing it for y'all, man. So it is finally time. I've been teasing it for weeks on the channel, but it is finally time for the 100th episode of the Classic Chronicles. Oh man, it's been a long time coming, and who the hell knew when I started this channel a little less than a year ago that we would make it to 100 episodes. Man, this is such a huge milestone for me. I thank you guys for liking my stories and movie reviews and everything else that I do on this channel. Just giving you a little glimpse of my life and what I like, and you guys like it too. So thank you for rocking with me. And I got this suggestion for what to do for this episode from my sister Carmen. So huge shout out to her. Like I said last week, it's a very touchy, taboo subject that I'm gonna get into on this one. But you know what? I've always been open and transparent with y'all from day one on this channel, and I'm never gonna stop being transparent. So here we go, man. I'm gonna talk about what it's like working differently abled, and some of my experiences working differently abled. So working differently abled is like I said, it's a very touchy, taboo subject because a lot of corporations don't want to take a chance on the differently abled. They fear that we might get hurt, liability stuff, and it's just stupid. Even if we're qualified for the job, like a lot of corporations or companies won't give us a shot because they fear that if something happens to us on the job, whether it be an injury or we can't do something, and it's like they always assume the worst, and like they don't want to give us a shot. So it's like what do you do working different? What do you do when you want to work differently able? You want to maintain that little bit of independence, but at the same time, how can you maintain independence when nobody's giving you a shot to prove that you can maintain that independence? It's just crazy. But so let's. I've worked at several senior citizen centers over the years. Shout out to Glenridge. Shout out to Ridgewood Older Adult Center. Uh, my coworkers, some of my coworkers, Jessica, Suhail, oh man, Crystal, Beatrice, Steve, Dex. Oh man, just so many cool coworkers. Those are, and the times where I got to work at the senior center, those were summer jobs. So I was part of the summer youth program for like what 6 straight years. I got lucky enough to get picked because it's like a lottery thing. So you have to hand in your paperwork and pray that you get picked. And they give you a random job site but I always got to. I was one of the lucky ones that I got to pick where I worked. So I worked at a senior center. Worked at those senior citizen centers that I just mentioned. They were about a couple of blocks from my house, so that was really really convenient for me. I enjoy working. I enjoy working with the elderly. Working with the elderly is always great. Because you'll hear some, you can read about World War II and other wars in textbooks, but to hear it from somebody who actually lived it, and that's what fascinates me. I'll never get tired of hearing those stories, and some of those stories that I heard from some of those lovely seniors about the Holocaust, and you know being involved in World War II and what that was like, man, it's just it gives me goosebumps just talking about it because like I said, you hear it in text, but you read it in textbooks, but to hear the first hand accounts, just nothing beats that. So I did that for about 6 years straight, and then prior to that 6 year streak, I worked at my old day camp, St. Mary's, as a volunteer counselor one summer. That was fun. To kind of just be on the other side of things and not just be someone who goes to the camp, and but to hang out with the counselors and see how they do things. It was a cool experience. I'll always remember that. Got that my junior year of high school, so that's what I did that summer. And After working there and working in senior centers, I got a chance to work at a place called Bronx Independent Living Services. Now, how I got that job is because my best friend Stephanie of over 20 years. She had I had went out to lunch with her. She had gotten hired a couple of months before I did, and uh, she was telling me all about the job and how good it was and everything like that. And I was like, hey, more power to you, because like I said, you know, getting a getting a job as a differently able person is hard to come by. So when you get an opportunity to get a job, man, you better take it. So we had lunch that day. We had a meeting. I mean, we had lunch and then we caught up on everything, and then lo and behold, a few months later, this the lunch was in December of 2015, and then in June of 2016, so about maybe 6 months later, she calls me and she asks, am I looking for work, uh, because her job Bills is hiring. So I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for work. Okay, cool. And she was like, okay, send over your resume right now, and I will forward it to the director Jen, and we'll get back in touch with you. So I go on about my business that day. I forward her my resume. I'm at a doctor's appointment, and Jen calls me and says, can you come in for an interview? I guess she must have liked what my resume, what I had written on my resume. Like I said, I had worked with senior citizens and kids and everything like that, and the original position was for a peer support counselor. So I I spoke to her. I told her that I couldn't come in for an interview that week on the week that they wanted me to come in, because I had already had prior commitments. The games for the physically challenged, which I mentioned earlier in this vlog, was coming up that week, so I couldn't make it. But when I got back, I told her that I would be right in, and they were gracious enough to wait for me to come back. So next, the following week, came in for an interview. I was it was kind of nerve wracking because I had never been there for an interview, and I'm like, oh man, I'm going into this thing thinking that, man, I'm not gonna get hired. They're not gonna hire me, whatever. But So I get there. Got lost on the way to the on the way up there because I went into the building next door, which is like a after school center, and then somebody pointed me in the direction of the building, the right direction actually, I should say. Shout out to Kelly, the security guy that works downstairs. Uh, so I get up to the second floor. I ring the bell. You know, you know, Nikki, the one of my future coworkers, let me in. I told them that I was looking for Jennifer, and they told me to wait. If she told me to wait a few minutes, and so I'm sitting there waiting, anxious and everything like that. So Jennifer finally calls me into the conference room where the interview is going to be held, and I I'm sitting there for like a couple of minutes, but it seemed like forever, especially when you're anxious and you just want to get it over with. So the interview happens. Jen comes back in with Anthony. Shout out to Anthony. He trained me, but he's conducting the interview, and some of the questions that they were asking was, you do a lot of you go to a lot of nursing homes with his job. What happens if one of the patients offers you food or whatever, and you have to answer that carefully because there are situations like that, and I did encounter a situation where a nursing home resident offered me food, and can't you can't take that, no matter how hungry you are, because you never know. I mean, it rarely ever happens it rarely ever happens if it ever does, but you never know. Maybe the patient could have laced it with medicine and stuff like that because you're dealing with all sorts of patients and stuff like that. So I answered the questions accordingly, and after the interview was conducted, you know, I had to wait a couple of minutes while they made their decision, and I heard the words that anybody wants to hear when they go for a job interview. Welcome to Bills. I got hired, so that was in June of 20. I want to say 2017. That was in June, so got hired. Summer. I was really really excited. Gonna be making my own money. I got to make my own hours, and at the beginning, everything was in the honeymoon phases. I like to call it. Everything was smooth, man. I took me a little bit to find my routine, but I got it down packed. Had it down with science. A shout out to Alyssa, who I worked under. She was my transition specialist to my peer support counselor. So we work very closely together, um, doing work at several different nursing homes in the Bronx. Uh, so yeah, man, and I met a lot of great people on my journey. And then a couple of months in, things got interesting. I was offered the I was offered the position of transition specialist, which I I knew what it came with. I knew what the territory was, and I said yes because you didn't want to impress, you didn't want to I felt like if had said no to the position, that I would be that I'll be letting the company down. Let me be real transparent here, 100% honest. I wasn't pressured into doing it. You know, I made a decision based on instinct, and you know, it happens. Like I said, I didn't want to let the company down, and I didn't want to feel like uh, I didn't want to be complacent where I was at. I wanted to always strive for more, strive for the best. So uh, so fast forward a little bit. That September, I get I mean that October. No, the end of September of 2016. 2017 going. Yeah, the end of September 2017. Uh, going to that fall, man. I get a call, from Jen saying, "Hey, you're gonna start your transition specialist position on Monday. You gotta be at the office or whatever." So transition specialist is basically peer support, but you also do the paperwork and everything that comes with it. So your role as a transition specialist is to make sure that the seniors that are transitioning out of nursing homes have a smooth time fitting back into the community. Okay, cool, great. Like I said, I know, I've been working with seniors, so I know what this entails. So it's it was what do you call it? I knew what the position entailed, but I wasn't ready for the headaches that came with it. The pay was great. It was a huge pay bump. I'm not gonna discuss specifics because I don't want to. But it was a pay raise, but what do you call it? So like I said, the pay raise is not worth the headaches that come with it. Man, and by the time October and November and the holidays were rolling around, man, I just wasn't having fun anymore. I was physically burned out, and it was getting to me. It was taking a toll on my mental health, and let me tell you, man, no job, no matter what the pay, the the pay, the perks, whatever it is, no job is worth your mental health. So just make sure you realize that, and I did what was best for me, man. I loved what I did. I love the people that I work with, but the job was taking a mental health toll on me, so I had to resign. I had to leave. What oh man, would I have done things differently? Looking back in hindsight, yes. Do I regret any of the things that happened on my way out? No, because it was a learning experience. But in hindsight, I would have done things differently. I probably would have stayed at peer support because peer support is a lot less stressful, and it's fun. I'm not an office guy. I'll do what I have to do if I have to stay in the office, but I'm not an office guy. I love being on the road. I love interacting with people, and I love helping people. So that that's what I would have done differently. I would have stayed at peer support. And like I said, I love the people that I work with. Shout out to Stephanie, Wendy, Annette, Alyssa, just everybody that I work with. The guys at the corner store. Guys at the corner store next to like right down the block from the building, man. Zach, who was my boss for a while in peer support, man. Just everyone that I work with. Soji, who later became my boss when I was a transition specialist. Shout out to him. Anthony, Bruce, Crystal, man, just everybody, man. I love all of those guys, and I'll never forget my time at Bill's. It was some of the most fun I've had in my life. Maybe not toward the end, but in the beginning, it was some of the most fun I've had in my life, and I would definitely go back and do everything again. I would definitely go back and work with them again if I had the chance to. Definitely. So yeah, working differently abled is really tough, man. But like I said, whenever you get those opportunities, just take them, cause they're very hard to come by in our community. So yeah, I that is gonna do it for this vlog, but I will Like, subscribe, share, comment, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Hope you enjoyed the 100th episode.